So I might do it again. Hey, NFL, man, Chargers at Ravens, that's like going to be a must watch. I feel bad for the other teams that are trying to play and be watched at the same time.
I do not have that one circled as one of my picks, but I definitely will be watching that game. I can't believe what I'm seeing from Lamar and overcoming his mistakes. And like, that's what I say, Chris, like he was not good the first three quarters, on the goal line when he fumbles, all he has to do is give that ball. Murray walks in the end zone.
Yep.
But Lamar pulls it, fumbles. So, like, you could just see it on his face. Like, guys, I need the ball back. Like, I need to make this up. I will make it happen.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he does. And I just – what he's done with the injuries on both sides of the ball, I just feel like the Ravens are just cooking everything so well.
I think they're cooking. I think they're cooking, but I think they're almost out of gas, Steve.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, how much can you keep doing this? But we'll see.
Yeah.
San Diego's got to be feeling Los Angeles.
We used to have a fine system for that in our defensive line room.
The Chargers are probably feeling themselves too after that comeback win. So it'll be both teams are thinking as highly as they could of themselves, which makes it for an awesome matchup.
And I want to put this pick in right now. Lock it in. I want the Chargers.
Yeah, plus
getting
3.
a field goal. It almost stinks to me. It almost stinks to me because Herbert and Lamar are both playing at extremely high levels. But everything else about now, Greg Roman's done a nice job, right?
Awesome.
He's done a really good job. There was like a dip there where people kind of were like, oh, we figured Greg Roman out. We figured Lamar out. Like Lamar's playing well. Greg's doing a good job. But otherwise, I think LA's played a lot better as a team. If they stay penalty free, and they've already played on the East Coast in a 1 p.m. spot
won,
which is a tough challenge, week 1 in the heat in Washington. I mean, I feel good about them on the road here. So give me the points and give me the Chargers, no brainer. And that's probably a loss because I just said no brainer.
One that stinks for me that I'll take the stinky side. Pats plus 3.5 with the vaunted Cowboys of the United States of America coming to town. Give me the Pats all day long there.
That's interesting, and one that I've avoided to this point.
I can't wait to see that matchup of the Pats defense against Cowboys offense. I mean, we talked about two of the most fun teams to watch in that game previous with the Chargers and the Ravens. Cowboys are must watch to me with that offense. They've been phenomenal. Zach Martin back healthy, just doing things that it feels like only Zach Martin could do. It'd be real interesting. Judon's been incredible.
Judon has been. I was slow getting on the hype train, and I've been a big fan of his, but it wasn't until a couple weeks ago that I was like, yeah, this is sustainable dominance from him. So he's been great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think, Romo caught some heat for haphazardly throwing out Kellen Moore as a head coach. And I don't know what you feel about, play calling equating being a head coach, but he's done a hell of a job, dude. He really has.
Doubt.
He really has.
No doubt.
I'm not saying I think he's the next head coach. I'm not saying everybody's going to be Brandon Staley at the podium right now.
Ooh,
that guy's just dropping dimes left and right. Everybody wants to be on Brandon Staley's team, dude.
Yeah. You mentioned putting your things in a wheelbarrow.
Yep. That's he's a member of the Marsh family. So what about Buffalo, Tennessee? Teams with a little bit of history. Stiff arm was a year ago yesterday. I believe they had that Monday night game last year that was rescheduled and got kind of ugly. Do you think that the Bills' kind of 2021 coming out party was more about the Chiefs sucking, or is it more about the Bills being good?
I think it's both. We talked about this on our podcast with Scott. I just really think it's like these teams don't fear Kansas City anymore.
Yeah.
Because they just come in and they're like, I don't care what you like. Buffalo comes in, plays those zone concepts, or, everybody's dropping and everybody's got their eyes on Mahomes and they'll run and tackle. To me, it's the other side. Like the offenses that come to play Kansas City, they're like, we're going to kick the shit out of your defense. So it doesn't matter what you do. You are not going to outscore us. And that's been pretty much proven the last couple of weeks. I mean, no matter what you say, every way they've done. I mean, it starts pouring rain and then Allen just becomes a runner. It's been really impressive for Buffalo after that week 1 loss. to Pittsburgh. So I think Buffalo's rolling.
And maybe I'm in the minority here, but I kind of feel like I'd rather play a team with a defense as porous that we got to score with, because when you can create turnovers, and that's what you've seen playing Kansas City at times, like, you have a puncher's chance. I mean, I really do. Like the Eagles, I was at that game a couple weeks ago. They felt like even though they only led early and then they found themselves behind, you always felt like the game was at least close enough that it could get interesting. So Kansas City's in a bad spot. I do think it's about Buffalo, too, because we talked about the D-line the other night and the way they've invested in it, with Rousseau and Epenesa's development and all types of guys that they brought in to, you know, like you look at their front four outside of Jerry Hughes, who's been like a damn good pro for a long time. They are built like a young 8-guy deep, run 'em D-line, star, the whole 9 yards, Ed Oliver. They have put together a nice little rotation unit, and that was the thing they were missing last year, quite honestly. Yeah. So I do think Buffalo is better than people think, and I think Tennessee's vulnerable.
I just feel back. So it feels like we're never going to see the Tennessee offense at its whole, you know, with both AJ, with Julio, with Henry, you know, like it doesn't feel like it's ever going to come to that combination, which sucks because that's what everybody wants to see is their best. And it's just been unfortunate for Tennessee.
Steve, what else? What do you got? I've given one out. I've given out the Chargers.
All right. I'm going to go with Cleveland at home against Arizona. I think they win the game. They're getting points at home. I like a home dog there.
I like that too.
Jacksonville, home dog. I think they win the game on the field and are Detroit Lions.
Yes, because he's on to it. It's the silent count thing. Detroit's never had the silent count deal at home, and Joe Burrow can't talk. So I think they win this game too. This is the week for Dan Campbell.
That too. But I think there's that. I mean, man, that sucked last week just to see Campbell the way. And to me, Chris, like I don't know if you talked about this, but when you see him in tears, and we know he's a man's man, and we love him for who he is. To me, it's just like a guy that's lived in this league, and he just knows that they're doing the right thing, and they just can't get a win.
That's the hard part.
And he can't say anything else to his team.
Yeah,
you know. And then like, is the team going to start doubting it, or are they still going to ride with him? Well, I still think they ride with him.
And that's the thing. I mean, like Macon, if you're in that locker room, how do you feel?
He's a man's Dan.
He's a man's Dan. That's good. He had that saved up for about 30 seconds. Just erupted. That. He's a man's Dan. We need a T-shirt that.
I'm gonna stick my foot in the ground and start running downhill for a guy like that.
Yeah, you are.
Give me a brick wall. Go through that bad boy.
Your legs have to fall asleep staying straight for that long.
Yeah, actually, this foot is asleep.
I knew it.
You could stick a knife through this. I wouldn't feel it.
It's like being on the toilet as a kid playing Game Boy. Legs asleep 100% of the time. But Dan Campbell crying and that sort of thing. Like, here, I said this last week. Of course I want to play for a guy like that. Like, because I've heard about him and all that stuff. But it's also a really challenging thing right now to be a head coach for a team that's like 0-5, but is like finding all these new ways to lose these close games. It's been gut-wrenching. The hardest part about being a coach in those situations is when you have to do it every week, you can't repeat the same thing every week. You lose guys if you repeat the same thing every week. So you got to color in the lines of the loss in a creative way every week without bullshitting guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you have to really have a way to come in and address them on Monday and get them to feel like we are close, because it's easy to think we're close week 4. It's really hard when you're 1-9 and it's getting closer to the holidays. It's getting cold. Injuries are mounting. So I
that's all those guys have known in that locker room.
Yes. So it's hard, man. Shout out to Dan brutal. Campbell. But this is the week because maybe the Bengals are tired too. I mean, they played 5 quarters and lived like 10 lifetimes at home last week. A big letdown. Maybe they're thinking, hey, let's just get right, and this is the letdown game. Silent count.
Yeah,
right.
Big spot for Cincinnati's defense here. If they're that good with the free agency moves they made, they win, but I think Detroit has it.
Make?
I'll go 3 home dogs. Detroit. Carolina, I saw it +1. It might be
That's stinky.
Might be a pick 'em there.
Is, yeah.
Christian McCaffrey, maybe. And I'll go New England, which feels awful, but that's been my whole deal this year. Feel bad about your picks, do well with the picks.
All right.
How's it going?
Going well.
All right, good. Good.
It does usually work.
Yeah.
It's not fun that way, and that's why we gamble, not to make any money. I got 2 more to give out here. I'm going to fade John Gruden, and I say that because I know he's at home rooting against the Raiders, and I'm going to fade John Gruden. I think this is a classic, like, rally together week. I think, like, with everything this team's been through, I think they've got a head coach right now that at least my man Keyshawn Johnson talked pretty highly of earlier in the week. I just think they have the right veteran coaching staff to get the guys to rally around each other. You've got Gus Bradley, you've got Marinelli, you've got Bisaccia, Coach V. Rich V. No, I know. I'm leaning into the joke now. I butchered it once. But this dude is supposedly a kind of guy that's built for this week. Like, fuck it, guys. We're in a shitty situation. We're going to go out and we're going to play football and we're going to have fun. Like, that seems like the type of aw shucks guy that's going to get them through. And so I got the Raiders, man. I got the Raiders. The Broncos. Sorry, Reed.
You sold me. I think that's right. I think you're right. And the fuck this stuff you said sounded more genuine than that statement he read that his wife probably wrote the other day on
I don't want to say that this man supposedly is a man of integrity. So
no,
I don't
he
think
said like people who care about him and who he cares about helped him with this statement. That it looked like he was reading for the first time.
Yeah, he's probably honest about that. What do you think about Green Bay and Chicago, Steve? Is that Macon was texting me last night about this?
Oh, I'm on Green Bay and I hate it. It seems like a square public city, gross. But then what if it's 31-13?
It feels like Chris and I say this every week, but it feels like Green Bay is a square pick for me every week. I don't buy it. And, I see how they won last week, and they keep overcoming it and they get the wins. But when you look down the road, they don't scare me if I see them in the playoffs. They really don't.
Steve, I'm going to do it. Chiefs by 1 million this week. Wow. They're going to see Washington. I worry about the D-line. I really do. But I think the secondary has been kind of piss poor. And I also think that this might be the week that the defense gets right a little bit more. Is this a really bad pick?
I can't see this one.
I don't think so.
It just makes too much sense. Everybody's finally a little bit out on the Chiefs. It's a big number on the road. Washington's D-line, I read about him in Athlon Sports in July. Oh, fuck, yeah, it must be Washington. Heineke wasn't bad in that playoff game last year. Nobody's seen Washington play. They're not that good this year. They just muddy things up.
It just feels like the Kansas City-Philly game that you saw, which was nearly a Philly
and
cover.
Guess what? Kansas City covered.
Ended up,
and
but
Philly's
it was close.
A better team than Washington at this point, in my opinion. So, yeah, give me the Chiefs, the Chargers, and then give me the Raiders.
Right.
Fading Gruden.